AI just helped salespeople get rid of those boring tasks that we all hated anyway. I'm not afraid 1% for like AI stealing my job at all, even though I work for an AI company.
30K emails per month.
It's truly...
What happened?
Mina, do you read your cold emails?
I have to say I really don't. This is my real assistant. He does all the hard work.
Hi everyone. Today's guest is Mina, account executive at Instantly. She has spent the last several years helping SaaS companies build pipeline through outbound sales and everything leading cold email outreach platform. Today we'll discuss everything about email channel, how AI changes this game, and what exact feature this instrument could bring us to the market, specifically in the email channel. Mina, welcome to our podcast.
Hi guys, thank you very much for the warm intro. Happy to be here.
Hello.
Mina, you actually have very interesting background. I can say even that you are working in a different sphere, not maybe the super normal background for the salesperson. How you get into the sales? What was your previous experience, and what actually you are doing right now in Instantly?
When people hear my background, I think it sounds completely random to most people because I worked in fashion, then PR, then diplomacy, and like ending up now in SaaS sales. So in paper, it looks like this girl really couldn't make up her mind, right? But if you kind of zoom out, there's actually one thing that's been constant throughout my entire career. And I think the core of all of these different roles and different paths was communication, which is obviously a big thing in sales as well. And I think each of the previous jobs and like roles I've taken taught me different stuff, but then stuff that were necessary for every next step that I took, completely unplanned. So every single one of these that I mentioned, none of that was planned. The path was not planned. The companies or even like diplomacy, nothing of that was ever planned. And I think it's just like it was meant to be that way. Because I don't know, like if you look at it closely, like in fashion and PR, you learn how to tell stories, manage relationships, organize events, work with like brands, companies, journalists, things like that, and communicate under pressure, which I think is super important in each of these. And then again, in sales now. In diplomacy, I think I learned one very crucial thing that I think it's super useful for salespeople, especially working for a company like Instantly, the one I'm working for today, which is listening. So you learn how to listen carefully, how to navigate like different personas, understand that how you say something is sometimes it's just often just as important as what you're gonna say. So it's kind of like a mix of different things, but it ultimately led here. Kind of like sales ended up being a place where all these skills came together. That's how I feel about it.
What is your responsibilities right now, specifically in Instantly, and what you are managing exactly?
I'm an account executive, so my job is to close. It's pure sales.
Cool. Very
As
good.
simple as that sounds.
But this is exactly what we need,
Yeah.
because you have a lot of experience talking about the email channel and all of the feature that you have. Because we are your users, actually. We know about Instantly a long time ago, and we are using this tool, and it's amazing. The truth is that we see that the customers that we are working with, the sales community that we are working, the AI game is a little bit changing the email channel as well. But how do you see these changes? What changes, for instance, I don't know, 2 years ago, and how Instantly, for instance, react on these changes? What do you think?
Well, the changes, I think they've been mostly technical, I would say, and they normally come from email providers, which is something that we obviously and no one else in the field cannot control. But I think the constant and what hasn't changed really is human nature. So they all, people talk about how I think that's the line most like plugged in everywhere is like the cold email is dead. A lot of people say that, but I don't think like specifically cold email is dead. I think just lazy cold email is dead, because what used to work before, if you go like 5 years back or 10 years back, that stuff doesn't work anymore. But that doesn't mean that the entire channel doesn't. So it's just, I think that the channel hasn't changed. It's been just the standard of it and how you do things.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess most of the, let's say, business development team used to be in a paradigm or pattern that's still massive cold mailing works. And let's keep going with such kind of mindset in every organization, in every department. But like you said, it's truly that channel is works, but the methodology is different right now, and we need to be more personalized, more advanced in terms of what we are saying. We need to show that we absolutely know what clients might be looking for, and all of this bring the result.
Yeah, I think a few years ago you could get away with like generic messaging and huge lists and volume for the sake of volume. Today, I think your prospects are more informed. Their inboxes are more crowded, like crowded than ever. And the bar for earning someone's attention is much higher than it was before. Like even us, when we don't talk like about, I don't know, SaaS sales specifically, but like, I don't know, brands or stuff we shop, we're the ones receiving those emails every day in promotions in our inboxes. So I think we pay attention to that stuff, and like earning someone's attention is much, much higher. And I think that's actually a good thing, because in a way, I feel like it forces us to be better at our job. Like, I don't know, to be better marketers, to be better communicators, to be ultimately better salespeople. And I think it just cold email as a channel still works incredibly well when it's relevant, when it's targeted, and when it solves a real problem. But if your strategy is to scrape, I don't know, 100K contacts, write one generic template and just ship it off and hope for the best, then yeah, it's probably going to feel dead, because I think it didn't stop working. I just feel like bad outbound stopped being tolerated. I guess that would be the word I'm looking for. Because Instantly or any other tool from this type of niche, it just amplifies your strategy. It doesn't replace it. So you have to know what you're doing with the tool in order to achieve results.
I agree with you here. And I can imagine that you as a tool and as a person who are working in industry, you are analyzing, I don't know, billions of emails. But what is actually the main insights, maybe what do you see right now from the outreach? Is reply rate is right now decreasing, or what is happening?
I think relevance and targeting are as important as ever. And just having a strategy with what you're doing, like knowing who are you talking to and how are you talking to them. Like if you're really want to sell something or pitch something to someone, it has to be the right person at the right time, and your product or service has to solve a problem they might have. I think those are like the pillars of doing it right, because outbound is a numbers game. It is a volume game, I'm not gonna lie. So obviously if you do more, you're gonna get more ROI and results, but if you do it right. If you're not doing it right, are you doing 1,000 or 100K? Doesn't matter. You're still going to fail. It's not about the number. It's about the quality.
But at the same time, there are, as you said from the beginning, that there are a lot of technical stuff becomes to appear, what we cannot sometimes influence. We see that Instantly react on this, give us a lot of the things, what is changing, I don't know. But even if you draft a good email with a good structure, with a good personalization, and you understand the target group, you have, I don't know, intents of the lead, it could go to spam. And actually, there are some things that we cannot influence on this. And I want all of you to discuss this as well, because we are facing with problem this as well from our side.
Definitely, a lot of emails do end up in spam, and deliverability is extremely important. Probably one of the, if not the first thing that needs to be done properly if you want to achieve any results in outbound, because a good email isn't enough anymore. People spend hours and hours perfecting their copy, and then they wonder why nobody replied. But if your email never reaches their inbox, your copy never even gets a chance to do its job. So I think your prospects, our prospects, they never see the work we actually put into messaging, because the mailbox providers see something completely different if you're doing this the wrong way, because they measure your sender reputation, your domain health, authentication, your sending behavior, your engagement history. All of these things will determine will the email providers let you land in inbox or not. So it's like applying for your dream job with a brilliant CV, but it never reaches the hiring manager because it got lost in the mailroom. If we're talking about old times, obviously, when things were not done digitally. So I think that's why I tell customers to think more about deliverability as infrastructure. And I get it. Like nobody really gets excited about this part. It's like the least sexy part of our job. But without it, I feel like nothing else really matters, because deliverability today is driven by the whole ecosystem around your emails. So that will differentiate you from the competition or anyone else if you're doing this right. So that's the first step in outbound, like in cold emailing specifically. If you're planning to do this, like everyone assumes that deliverability is something you fix after launching a campaign. In reality, it starts before you actually even send the first email out, because your infrastructure should be healthy before the copy is ever written. So that's the first thing you need to think about. I had a comment, I think, recently. No, actually, it was a few months back on one of my LinkedIn posts that was about the benchmark report that we published. And there was this guy who asked specifically, Mina, can you tell me, like, what is more important? Is it the copy or deliverability? Like, what matters more? Like, tell me one thing. And I do remember replying him, it's never just one thing. It never is. I don't think it's either or, because great copy with poor deliverability is literally invisible. And then great deliverability with poor copy is ignored, like no one is going to reply. So you really do need both, because the best email in the world cannot book you a meeting from a spam folder. That's just a fact.
So many sales departments struggle with the sales copies. We need to be more excellent in what we are saying to our clients, and domain not ready, infrastructure are not ready, and such kind of excellence. Who needs? Who read this? Yeah. As everything will be in a spam. By the way, Mina, do you read your cold emails that comes to your inbox?
I have to say, I really don't. I really don't. Because I mean, I used to. I feel like I used to, especially when I was working as an SDR. Because when you're working from a perspective of someone whose job is to book meetings and not close them, you're curious about what others are doing, what's working. If you want to adopt and pick something up from someone else who's trying to sell maybe something completely different than what you're selling, but it doesn't matter. Like you pick up a trick or two along the way. But now I feel like everything I'm receiving is either poorly targeted, so they're reaching out to me and I'm not really a decision maker or even in that department. I do
Yeah.
understand multi-threading, and like I do understand people thinking that maybe if Mina sees value in this, Mina will push it with different teams. But in a company like Instantly, especially when you're in sales, and you guys know like how big the company is, I really don't have time with all the back-to-backs and like follow-ups and webinars and podcasts and everything else I'm doing, like even live events that we do, like co-hosting with someone in person. I don't really have time to go through my inbox and spend time on something that's not really getting me ROI, because I always have dozens of emails waiting because of the clients, and clients do come first. So to get my
Yeah.
attention, the email really has to be top notch. It really has to solve some problem that I'm experiencing, and I have to be the relevant person. Maybe I'm not the decision maker, but if my team needs this, us as sales, and if I see the value that we can do things faster with this, whatever they're selling, I'm going to go to my head of sales. I'm going to say, hey, I think this could help us with this. And I'm sure that he'll be open to hear and like pay for it, and whatever makes us more productive, faster, on top of the things. he would be down. So I think what I'm seeing right now is mostly bad targeting and like not something completely out of like any kind of context for me and my job, what I do for the company.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always also subscribed for the main outreach experts, and always checking how they will be pitching me, in what way, in what kind of logic, skeleton campaign. And for the best campaigns, I always replying and saying, "You're crashing it. You
Of
keep
course,
going,"
yeah, yeah.
just to help
And even
SDRs.
if I see something interesting, but it's not like my area of expertise or my field in the company, I would gladly point them to the person who's in charge or something like that. So I think I do feel like I'm in sales. I've been there in their shoes, so I'm always up
Yes.
to help. But it all comes back to what we spoke about in the beginning. It's just the standards are raised, the bar is higher now, and I think people are just spraying and praying more, especially because of the
Yeah.
AI.
We will talk about that
Yeah.
in a minute.
Just to maybe finalize or summarize this topic about the infrastructure,
Mhm.
I want just to maybe recommend to people, to companies who are doing right now email outreach, just an outbound setup for this. Because, Mina, we're still facing this situation
Mhm.
when we come into sales department and they still have 10 emails or even 5,
Yeah.
and they still think that it could be efficient sending 100 emails per one email per day. And
Yeah.
we see on this setup, and they really do not understand what we are meaning here. And yeah.
Definitely. So what I recommend normally on my demos, like for beginners, is something that I call, I mean, I came up with this obviously while doing this many calls, and we have over 1 million clients. So it's kind of like you get to see a lot of outbound in the wild, so you know what kind of works, what doesn't. What I do is like a 30K POC. That means 30K emails sent in 1 month to 10K people, like a 3-step sequence. Why do I suggest this? Is because on average, 1 in 1,000 emails, 1 in 1,000 sends gets a reply. So I think with 30 replies, which is the average, obviously they can get higher numbers, lower, there's no rules. They do have enough space, firstly, to A/B test a lot of different stuff, like different subject lines, different approaches, different maybe batches of leads, or the way they pitch stuff. And then the second one, that it gives them enough numbers, because if like 30, they get 30 replies, let's say half of those will be unsubscribe, not interested, remove me from the list. What's left? Even if they ask for more info, not all of those will end up as meetings booked. And not all of the meetings booked will end up as clients closed, as closed ones. So if you're aiming for some, and our clients really are always aiming for the fastest possible outcome, you know, I feel like they will get there faster with doing a proper test drive compared to testing with 1,000 leads, because you can only test as much with 1,000. And I remember I already said it's always quality over quantity, but if you're targeting right and if your leads are good quality, which every single lead in our database is already double verified, so you picked your ICP carefully, it's all double verified, so you won't get bounce rates, impacted deliverability, and all of that, then it's not spraying and praying, you're just focusing your outreach to a bigger group of people because your TAM is bigger. Obviously, if your TAM is smaller, we can do smaller numbers because you don't really have that many people to reach out to. So you have to be more careful about the outreach. It has to be more personalized. You have to be more mindful about stuff. But if your TAM is big enough, this is my starting point. Like 30K POC is like the minimum I do on my demos. This is like the pretty standard small package that I sell. And I think from what I heard from clients, it works in majority of the cases. The cases where it doesn't work is where your copy isn't good, you're not A/B testing, you don't know who your ICP is. So these problems have more to do with your internal setup and your sales team, not the tool and not the outbound itself. So there's a checklist of things you need to do before actually using the tool, and then when you start using it, like deliverability, quality of leads, blah, blah, blah. So all of that. So I think both of these things need to be aligned for sure.
At the same time, as you said, so 30K emails per month. It's a big volume of emails anyway. And people saying and thinking right now that, okay, I need to send this amount of emails, but what about if AI would help me, I don't know, to target well with good intents, and I don't know, my target group could be smaller, but quality of the leads is better. What in this case, what do you think? We still need these numbers when we say about AI, but it's still different means it's volume gain, but at the same, it's a good targeting and a good copy, as you said.
Just to give you an example how it works on our end, is the AI going to find your ICP and then write a copy, or are you going to filter it out through our database? It's the same database, both AI and you are going to take those leads out. So it's the same quality. The targeting is the same. It's just that with the AI, you're going to give it a prompt, or you're going to feed it info for it to find your ICP, or you're going to be like, okay, my ICP CEOs in retail in UK, this headcount, this revenue using this technology. It's the same. The result will be the same if you're doing things right. So the AI is there just to help you speed up the process. And there are people still who are hesitant to use this type of like completely hands-off type of, AI agents and stuff like that, which is why we have multiple, like we have the SDR-agent, but we also allow you to do things more manually. Obviously not manually as in sending every email manually, but like filtering out who your ICP is. So it gives you more control. Some people like to have more control. I don't know, them taking the wheel and not the AI, handing it over to the AI. So whatever works for them is best. But I always tell them, you can test. Do 2 campaigns or 3 or whatever. Use completely hands-off for one. Use the more manual approach for the other and compare the results. Right now, I can tell you with Instantly, the SDR agent is having better results than the fully human approach. And by far, very like bigger numbers. So it's really a personal preference, but I honestly use both. Because I'm that type of person, I don't think AI can completely replicate humans, where in judgment, in soft human touch, in reading the room, in, realizing there's some signs and there's some like AI is good with like repetitive tasks and ways that they can save you time, but not with part where you need a brain and a heart,
I had one case. It's always about like counting the risks when you use the AI in every process. One of our clients, SDR team, pushing on the market new ICP and new value proposition, and one SDR of this team showing her demo how they are speaking with one of the leads through the chat, LinkedIn chat. And we read 3 or 4 kind of chat messages, and I recognize that this lead, this person, are fully AI automated. So the replies are not human based. So this person asked a question always about like, okay, let's book a call with you, and not showing a time, not sending any kind of messages, some kind of details. And I said to this SDR, hey, but you are not recognized that this is a not real person. This is kind of, let's say, human in a dress of AI bot. She said, look, I spent 3 years doing SDR, and right now I feel that I missed the recognition where it's a really human type of replies and where is it not. And she was not crying, but she was super upset because such kind of for her, let's say, case shows that AI really so close to what we are doing every day.
Yeah, I think the hype is the idea that AI can replace human judgment. And the reality is that AI is incredibly good at those repetitive, as I mentioned, and structured work, but like researching accounts or like enriching data, like we mentioned, or drafting first versions of emails or qualifying signals or like handling routine replies. It can save a lot of time. That's the goal, right? But where I think it doesn't replace people is context, trust, and decision making matters, because I personally would not, I don't think any of us would hand that over to the any kind of AI, because the best sales conversations and any conversations in any job, any work, line of work, they require empathy, and they require reading between the lines, asking the follow-up questions, and understanding any confusions, and knowing when not to push. AI doesn't know that. AI, you can train based on whatever knowledge you input into it, but this is the part where it cannot replicate human. So I don't see AI as replacing like salespeople at all. I think it's just raising the bar for what salespeople can accomplish. Because for me specifically, it's just helping me use my time more wisely, so I can actually have more time to focus on the tasks where my presence and my empathy, judgment, and everything else is needed. I don't need that for sending initial email to whatever number of people that I already chose to target or whatever. So the repetitive work, it gets automated, but the human work becomes more valuable because of it. I'm not afraid 1% for like AI stealing my job at all. Even though I work for an AI company that released an SDR agent as a feature that I'm using. It's helping me. It's not working against me. It's working with me. So I'm not really worried at all. It's like the competitive advantage isn't AI versus humans. It's actually humans who know how to work with AI versus the humans who do not. I think that's the real fight there. Because if you're in this line of work and if you want to do well and earn well and be successful, you have to accept this as something that's part of your job now, to learn how to use AI and to leverage it, and not just be like, no, I don't like it. I personally don't like it. I got asked this morning, like, your replies are super structured and whatever. Are you using AI for replies? I personally am not. For my Gmails, I reply to every Gmail manually. Complete like me. It's normally on my phone because it's like faster to type. So I'm normally like doing something else on my computer and typing for the phone. For me, like after all these years of work, I feel like clients now feel like everything is AI automated, even when it's not. Like even, so now they're like, is this an AI? Am I talking to a real person? Sometimes they book a meeting and they're surprised they get a real person on the call. So I'm like, this is a bit too much.
Like this note regarding, I guess, soon will be kind of badges that this is AI bot you're speaking with, that human can recognize that this is not a human. And another story why we will be exist on the market as a profession of sales, because again, can you imagine that AI SDR bot will be selling to another SDR AI bot? Then they cannot go till the end again to book a meeting and sell something. They will be talking, and it takes years.
Again, my point is always the same. Humans get tired. We get distracted. We procrastinate, me included. We're all human, right? AI doesn't. It can do all these repetitive tasks with incredible consistency, and what we should be using it for. Everything else, we can do it on our own. So just use the AI for the parts of work that you actually hate. I think AI just helped salespeople get rid of those boring tasks that we all hated anyways, right? So, like, it's help.
Yeah. Until token exists on your subscription and electricity as well.
Yeah. You know what I do sometimes? Like, my sister always makes fun of me for it. But like, if I'm cooking something or whatever, like, I'm not a huge cook. Let me just underline that. But I do make like pasta and things like that. I'm a huge fan of Italian cuisine. When I'm like doing it and I say, okay, Siri, remind me in like 10 minutes to, go back, because I'm like working all the time. So I don't really, sometimes I forget that some things is on, on the stove. And
Yeah.
then Siri says, okay, or whatever Siri says. And I always say, thank you, Siri. And my sister always makes fun of me because like, why are you saying like, thank you? Like, and I'm like, maybe one day when robots rule the world, if it ever happens, I want to be in their good grace. Like, this girl said thank you.
Yes.
So I'm like, I'm very polite. So, just in case, just in case.
In a scoring list,
Yeah.
you will be a good
Yes.
person, like
Yes.
in AI
That's the
ecosystem.
goal.
Yeah.
This was very specific discussion about the AI, and I do agree with a lot of the tendencies that right now, especially in the field, that this is routine that we hate previously
Yeah.
to do a lot of, to go deeper into details. AI speed up these processes and give us much faster, very sensitive, needed information before we go jump into discussion or something like that. And I do agree that we are in the fight, as you said, people who are using AI in sales and with the versus people who are not using. This is
Imagine every hour an account executive like me spends updating spreadsheets or manually following up. Whatever is an hour, we're not actually spending understanding customers and closing them. So the company is suffering, we're suffering. I mean, suffering, define suffering, but if your results and everything can be bigger and better, like why wouldn't we use it?
How many calls with the potential customers normally
A
you
day,
have during the day?
12, 16, 12 to
A day.
16. Yeah, back to back to back.
Why I'm smiling with Alex, because we are mostly working with IT B2B service companies. And for the sales team, just to have one call per week, this is a tremendous result, like.
Yeah, look, I can't lie. I am lucky and privileged to work for a company like the one I'm working right now. Instantly is a great brand and it has a great product. So it makes my job way easier to sell something that I'm not selling some type of scam or anything like that. So that is one thing. And then this niche specifically and product market fit is very good. I think right now we're not probably definitely number one tool in this field. I don't think anyone has more clients or users than us. I think right now we have over 1 million users and over, I think, 60K clients as in individual companies. Our clients are some of the biggest names in tech, like Lovable, like Sony, like X, which is Twitter. There's many names, many giants using us. I think that itself says a lot. So we're super grateful for that as well. It's fast-paced environment. There's a lot of calls. They're all just 20 minutes. So it's like back-to-backs in 20 minutes, every 20 minutes. So I think it's just that mastering the product, knowing that what you're selling. I personally was using Instantly before I ever started working for Instantly. So I've been there, I've been in their shoes. So I know exactly how does it help? Where does it help? But then again, when I joined over a year ago, half of the features didn't even exist. So there's a lot to keep up with, a lot to learn, but it's also super exciting. I can't lie. Like every time I see a new feature, I'm like, man, like back in the day when I was doing this, like just SDR work for some other company, I would kill to have something like this. Like this would be super helpful. And now I'm like, I'm on the other side of the whole process, but that's why I think I understand them better. And that's why I think they trust and they want to help. But then again, I also got the job in Instantly by cold emailing our head of sales. That's how I got the job.
So you
Cool.
qualified.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I want to work in this industry. Who's the best right now in this industry? There was no question instantly. So I just shot my shot, send an email. There was no presentation, Loom, anything. Like it was very direct, short-ish, straightforward email. I think my subject line was reporting for duty, if I remember well. They were not even hiring. Jason, our head of sales, he was like, we're not hiring, but I'm going to keep your CV for like future reference, but I would still like to, meet you. We jumped on a call. He said again in the beginning, Mina, we're not hiring. I was like, fine, no problem. 10 minutes later, I got the job. I got the contract. I got everything. They were like, can you start tomorrow? I couldn't start tomorrow. It was too fast. I didn't expect it that fast. But even in the companies of this size, I think, when you're good at what you do, if you have the expertise, if you have the grit and you're hardworking, things happen. Like you have the ownership of your work. You have all the help you need. I don't know, tools, advice, help, you name it. But in the end of the day, it's up to you to hold yourself accountable and responsible for what you're doing. And sometimes it's hard with this amount of, meetings. But I think the best thing about my team and me is that we love what we do and we love the product as well. So it makes things way easier for us. When you mentioned the number of the meetings, we are incredibly lucky to have a lot of inbounds, obviously, but we also use our own tool for the outreach. Like I can give you an example of what we're doing right now. Piggyback on what you said about the SDR. So we all built the SDR-agent for ourselves to do our outbound while we're closing. Because obviously, if I'm doing closing back to back all day, every day, I don't really have time for many manual campaigns, creative stuff, or all of that. So what we did is we replicated, okay, in this case, I'm going to say I replicated my best SDR, right? Which is me. So what I did is I took the clients I closed, let's say in the last 3-6 months, whatever. I put them into Claude to get, I think I said top 5 personas that I'm closing most to focus on them, because obviously if I'm closing them most, those are kind of like niches or companies that benefit from Instantly most. Or maybe it's just that because it's different. Again, me and someone else from the team, we might be closing different personas because maybe I speak better to someone because it's like someone maybe prefers more corporative guy. That person probably wouldn't buy from me. And then people who are more like startups, like, I don't know, CEOs, I don't know, women, it doesn't matter. I think I do close equally, men and women, but I don't know, maybe for some people it makes a difference. So I replicated that. I got personas. I put that into our SDR agent. What the SDR agent is doing is every day, completely hand off on autopilot, is reaching out to people like that. And the numbers are insane. It's insane because it's like an idea how to get the most of what you're already doing right. If I wasn't, obviously, then I would need to think of something else. But I think what you're closing most gives you a good metrics on who are you actually converting most, and then reach out to those people more.
This is the great data specifically to understand if I'm successful in this, I can duplicate this for sure. And that is why you did this in AI SDR
That's what I'm
approach.
telling
Cool.
you. The SDR is super, the AI, but in this case, the SDR is a super potent weapon to have. So I have it work while I'm working. So it's actually, I clone myself to do what I don't have time to do. It's mind-blowing. We couldn't even come up with these things many years back. So I think it's worth the shot. And then everyone can choose. Maybe for someone, something more manual works better, which is fine. But also, like, I think sometimes when it doesn't work from the first try, maybe you just need to like put a bit more thought and attention into it, and then like A/B test, iterate. It's not magic. It's not like, okay, push one button, here it is, works well. So, it does take work, like everything in life. Everything takes work and patience.
I can predict, Alex, in a year, Mina will earn a lot of money through the bonuses, and
Why 1 year?
we'll
I already
open
am.
new.
Maybe many years from now, I'll
No,
just
no,
like,
no.
I don't know, open my own company or some other product that I'm gonna come up with, talking to the clients. Who knows?
I suggest a fashion boutique.
Yeah, I'm super happy now where I am, because I did work for SaaS companies that had to do something to do with fashion, e-commerce or things like that. Like it was for like girls, it was super good because it was like beauty, lifestyle, fashion brands, all of that. But the product market fit for this specifically, what Instantly is doing, is better. So obviously you have more people to contact, more people to close, obviously more money to earn. So then maybe one day, right now I don't have an idea, but I'm just talking like maybe what if while working here or whatever, while talking to the clients, I see something that doesn't exist and that would, people would benefit from it. And then I like start my own startup. Who knows? And I'm excited to whatever the future holds. I think it's going well for now.
I remember my days when I worked with Noah and Vera. I worked before in a LinkedIn automation tool
I
called
know.
Expandi. Yeah, and yeah, and Noah said like, "Look, we need to switch from this email automation tool to Instantly." I said, "Why?" They released a super cool new rollout feature that you can add to your campaign so many email addresses and speed up sending process. And it was like, how much, like 4 years ago,
Yeah,
3 years
long time
ago,
ago.
something like that. Yeah. And I said, damn, how much time we lose. No. And we send it like, I don't know, 15 emails per day, like, and keep in control every email account into our system, infrastructure system. I said, like, these guys will be billionaires soon, because such kind of rotation feature will help a lot of sales organization really speed up sales and SDR process. And it's truly
What happened? Yeah, our founders are really working hard on innovations in general, and everything we launched recently, when I say recently, let's say the past year, was mind-blowing already. Like from the SDR agent, reply agent, now deliverability agent as well, that's monitoring constantly your deliverability and like flags anything that needs fixing. Rotation was literally probably one of the first things, like the basic things. Now it's not even, no one even mentions it because it goes without saying that you have that, right? But back in the day, it was crazy to even imagine that's possible. But I think everything is very detail oriented with Instantly. Even the fact that all those emails in rotation, every one of them are sent from the same one. So if your first initial email went from one inbox, the follow-ups will come from the same one as well, to not confuse the prospects. It's like, you have to think, it's playing chess all the time. You have to think so many steps in advance. But luckily for us, we have 4 co-founders, so that's 4 very big brains that are working on this constantly. And like it's very exciting to like be, I'm not someone with dev experience or background, so I'm not like someone who builds a product or UX, which is why for me, like just watching all of that from like sideline is just like, I can't even, some days I'm like, how did I ever end up in this company? Like it's surreal for me because like it's so fast, like it develops so fast that I don't even know what next year we'll probably, if we have this conversation, it's going to be even who knows how many new stuff released.
absolutely. And for me and for Alex as well, we are startuppers in most cases, like we are entrepreneurs, but like always started business from scratch. And for me, I was shocked because instantly this is not first tool, launched on the market. This is tool after 10 tools, like already exist on the market, big brands and stuff, and chasing always the news with Instantly, how you guys every month growing fast, like new user acquisition, because again, product stable, interesting, customer success effective, and
Mhm.
let's say react for any kind of your issues. And the price again, you can warm up a lot of
Unlimited,
folders
yeah, and
and
I think we're the only
emails
ones in
for
the
the
market with
same. Yeah, yeah,
unlimited seats. So you basically purchase subscription. Now you're gonna have free users or 30 users. You'll still be paying the same. Obviously, if you want all the free 30 users to have full calendars, you would need bigger volumes. But then again, we won't charge you more for 30 people having access to your account. So yeah, I think that's one of the big differences that you mentioned. And yeah, it's exciting, and it's like bootstrapped instantly, completely, like no investments, no outside money, which is crazy to get to these stages of growth. And like we're just not stopping. And I think one very important thing about building a product like this was that the founders were laser focused on building for one thing only. It was just emails, never cold calling, dialers, LinkedIn, or anything like that. It was, obviously we do offer integrations. That's another thing. But like natively in
yeah,
our product, they never strayed away from the path. And I think that's hard for founders in general, because obviously everyone wants something that can do everything. But if you look at the market right now, there's no one tool on the market who does it all, but like good quality, both like all 3 channels. So yeah.
yeah.
I remember the situation when the people asking us, our customers, why Instantly, and we're always using their niche. They are specifically focusing in only one channel, and they are doing this very good. And that is why results is good, performing on your campaigns is good, etc. Means not you are doing
Yeah.
with LinkedIn automation, etc., etc. So you are focusing and dedicated to the one result in one channel. This is good. Mina, it was incredibly interesting, specific, and very good discussion with you. But let's imagine the situation, one of, how to say, maybe summarize to this. If we imagine a startup, all of you together, and they are just starting email channel, let's say to these people 3 key things, key pillars they need to pay attention to start email outreach. What you would recommend to them?
So 3 pillars, like 3 things you should focus on before, like, okay, let me think.
Start.
I think it's pretty much always the same, but I want to keep it like short because someone who's watching this, they will want to like just go out like with 3 words, so as simple as possible. Okay, I would say the first one would be the tool isn't your strategy. Like you need a tool, but tool isn't your strategy. So because people think they'll sign up for a platform, launch a campaign, and meetings will magically appear, right? Software doesn't replace thinking. It doesn't, it just amplifies it in a way. So if your targeting is weak or your messaging misses the mark, like no tool can fix that for you, instantly included. So you have to have that in mind. The second one would be that more volume doesn't automatically mean better results. Again, yes, outbound is a numbers game, but to be able to do bigger numbers and get bigger ROI, you need to nail your targeting and your copywriting. You need to know exactly who are you talking to and how and why are you talking to them at this specific time. So that would be the second one. And then the third one, if something doesn't work immediately, don't declare it broken, because outbound in general isn't like one-shot experiment. I'd say it's an iterative process. So you launch, you learn, you adjust, you improve, and you just have to have patience. Again, it all comes back to patience and the will to actually crack the code. It won't take forever if you're really thoughtful about it, and if you watch a webinar or masterclass, get informed a bit. I think the rules are there, the knowledge is there, the info is there. You just need to want to do it. So I think those three things would be the things I would suggest. And if you're asking me about 3 things they need to kind of like have like a checklist for: targeting, no, deliverability, targeting, messaging. So I always joke and I say deliverability maxing. It's the game behind the game, but without that, honestly, nothing else matters. So that would be the number 1 always.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Mina. Thank you, Mina. This is
Thank
exactly
you,
what
guys. I'm
we
so
were
happy that
expected.
you're
Thank
using
you.
us. I'm happy that your clients are happy with the product and that you're happy with the product. So that's always nice to hear. Doesn't matter how many times you hear it, always sounds like a first time. Trust me, I've worked for some companies and some tools that were not on this level, and that were not really working. And, it wasn't like clients were complaining or, the word of mouth traveled. So now every time I hear positive feedback, it makes me really super, super happy. And I think all of us in the team and in the company.
Absolutely. If we will be bad selling consulting services with Alex, I wanted to be in your team as a SDR. So
Sure,
hire
it's a
us as
deal.
a SDR.
It's a deal.
Yeah. Deal. Mina, thank you very much for this discussion. It was very interesting. We got a lot of new even insights because we even work with Instantly. But from your side, how it sounds and what level of the data it's super
Yeah, you
interesting.
too. You
Appreciate your time
want me
today.
to get the bunny to close this for us? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I think he's a bit sleepy, but yeah, this is my real assistant. He does all the hard work. I'm just, like presidents. I'm just taking pictures. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, Mina.
Bye.
Appreciate it.